Tonight on CTV News at 6. Early morning shooting. One person is sent to hospital in Sault Ste. Marie. With temperatures on the rise.
It's a little bit warmer during the day, so we're getting a bit of a release in that snowpack, but it's also cold at night, which is very favorable for us.
Cities like Sudbury are bracing for flooding. And after a tragic loss,
we're just trying to, have a place where we can come and put flowers for my dad and remember him.
A Timmins area MP and a family are calling for tougher penalties.
CTV News at 6 with Tony Ryma and Rick Wyman with weather.
Good evening. So glad you're with us on this Monday. Police in Sault Ste. Marie are investigating a shooting on Dennis Street this morning. Police say they responded to reports of a person injured in a shooting just before 3 a.m. One victim was taken to hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. Police are asking anyone with information to contact them or Crime Stoppers. Police believe this is an isolated incident. A man in North Bay has been arrested after a break-in at a restaurant Thursday. Police say a restaurant on McEwen Avenue was broken into around 5:30 Thursday morning. By the afternoon, police executed a search warrant where they arrested a 26-year-old man and recovered the stolen property. Police have charged him with 2 counts of break and enter after connecting him to a theft on Ski Club Road in October 2022, where more than $13,000 worth of property was stolen. As we experience spring-like temperatures, Conservation Sudbury is keeping a watchful eye for potential flooding on waterways. CTV's Angela Gemmell has details.
Flows along the Wanapitei River are higher than normal. It's the result of a precautionary measure upstream in preparation for major melting this spring.
The dam operators are being very proactive in anticipating the amount of water that we're going to have released as the snow melts, and doing everything they can to store that as best as possible.
Last week, Conservation Sudbury issued a water safety statement for the Wanapitei River in response to higher than normal snowpack in the watershed.
We're at the high end, 250 millimeters of snow water equivalent within the snowpack, which is double what we would see on average for this time of year.
In advance of the full spring melt, Kreiderman says Ontario Power Generation has been working to free up storage space within the Lake Wanapitei Reservoir. But she adds the weather over the next few weeks is expected to cooperate, which should keep flooding to a minimum across their catchment area.
Kind of a warm up through the day, so a lot of that snow will turn into water runoff during the day, and then overnight the temperatures drop back down below zero again, giving it a time to kind of lock up and have a little bit of relief in that flow contribution.
The Ministry of Natural Resources Sudbury District looks after watersheds within the Wanapitei, Vermilion, Spanish and French rivers. The Resource Management Coordinator says the snowpack within their watersheds is also roughly double what they'd normally see.
We're keeping an eye on that every day. Right now, conditions are favorable. It's a little bit warmer during the day, so we're getting a bit of a release in that snowpack, but it's also cold at night, which is very favorable for us.
The MNR and Conservation Sudbury are responsible for overland flooding of lakes and watercourses, while the city says it's opened up catch basins and completed winter ditching. They'll be monitoring for local surface ponding on streets and roads. Angela Gemmell, CTV News, Sudbury.
And a Sudbury man is feeling frustrated after a snowplow sent snow over the edge of an overpass, hitting his windshield while he was driving below, causing a spider web of cracks.
As we were driving down the highway, we came up to the first underpass at the Astaire overpass. And just as we were coming up to it, I seen what looked like a mountain of snow coming over. And it was the plow, and a plow had come and it's hit my window, and it was a loud bang. We immediately slammed on the brakes. We looked, our whole windshield was smashed, and it was actually glass all over our dash too.
Strickland says he contacted the city that said it was out of its jurisdiction, but his calls to the Ministry of Transportation have gone unanswered. We reached out to the MTO and did not receive a response by our broadcast. Strickland says he is now out $400 due to his insurance deductible, but he is appreciative of the person at Sudbury Hyundai who helped him out with the remaining $600. The driver and his passenger were unharmed. Timmins police say they're seeing an alarming number of impaired driving related incidents. Officers have responded to 15 since January 2026, resulting in a total of 48 charges. Breaking it down, the incidents include 9 drug-related incidents and 6 alcohol-related ones. Among the charges laid, 15 counts of impaired, 7 of dangerous operation, 1 flight from police, and 1 resisting arrest. They add, if you suspect someone is driving impaired, you should call police. A Northern Ontario family is hoping a petition will help bring about stiffer penalties for people who cause death by dangerous driving. As CTV's Lydia Chubak tells us, the petition is being sponsored by the local MP.
A new season, and the Bulger sisters say it's time to change the flowers at their father's roadside memorial.
We're just trying to, have a place where we can come and put flowers for my dad and remember him.
Jim Bulger passed away after a collision on September 29th. He had pulled over on the side of the road in Porcupine and was struck by another vehicle. The driver accused in the incident is now before the courts.
It's a big mistake, and it does cost families' lives. And, no family should have to pay for that.
Rebecca, her sister Elizabeth, and the rest of her family is now trying to fight through grief by working with Kapuskasing Timmins Mushkegowuk MP Gaetan Millette. Millette is sponsoring an e-petition, which has amassed over 760 signatures so far. The petition, E7150, calls for the government to conduct a comprehensive review of offences where death or serious bodily harm was caused by dangerous driving.
So it would be very good that people keep on signing the e-petition. Then the petition will be presented by me to the clerk of petitions in the House of Commons. And then it will be tabled. First it will be validated, then it will be tabled.
It doesn't matter what your political affiliation is, whether you're conservative, you don't vote, you're Liberal, NDP, you can easily be killed by a dangerous or reckless driver. So that's why we all need to unite under this and get justice for future families. If justice might not be able to be served for my dad, but for other families, people need to go to jail if they kill or take someone's life.
The petition will close on June 7th. The family is also lobbying for lines to be painted on the road and for a highway digital speed sign in the area where their father was hit. Lydia Chubak, CTV News, Porcupine.
Shifting gears now, a much nicer day out there. You could call it spring-like temperatures, but will these conditions last? To tell us more, here's CTV's Rick Wyman.
Oh, Tony, what a mess coming up for tomorrow, actually beginning late this evening and continuing overnight in Northeastern Ontario. Our systems map from Environment Canada. A mixture of pretty well everything. We've got snow, freezing rain, freezing drizzle, ice pellets and what have you, and that will affect driving conditions for tomorrow. As we get rid of the month of March, it's been quite a month, and of course, we all know March is going out like a lion. So we'll check out some of the numbers over the course of the next few days. Tomorrow won't be pretty. That's just a heads up right now. We'll also have some current temperatures and a lot more coming up a little bit later on this hour. Tony?
Thanks so much for that, Rick. Urban renewal still to come on CTV News at 6. A new seniors housing development is coming to the town of Smooth Rock Falls. Right now, though, we're off to Parry Sound. This live webcam is of the town dock. The shot is courtesy of Northern Creations. It's 7 degrees. We're back in just a few minutes.
Country 91.7. Sudbury's home for the best country music. Listen for your chance to win $50,000 with Pure Country's big $50K payday.
The community of Smooth Rock Falls is moving forward with a new 20-unit seniors housing development. Details right now from CTV's Ian Campbell.
It's news that, as far as the mayor of Smooth Rock Falls is concerned, is long overdue.
Well, it's been going on for a while. When I first got here to be mayor of Smooth Rock, we tried it about 4 years ago. And at the time, it was like $260 a square foot, $260 a square foot, which was nice. We were going to do 7 duplexes in a roundabout over by Kelly Road by our hospital. but things fell into the way, by the side. And then when we decided to start it again, it was $560 a square foot, so more than doubled.
That shook some heads. That was until Keith Harriman and his partners got involved.
And Smooth Rock Falls, when we met with them, it was a no-brainer. There was a need for senior housing. They recognized quickly.
The model works by finding a contractor. A nonprofit organization with the municipality is then formed and a board established. A needs analysis is done, financial models are finished, and the banks provide financing for the municipality.
We provide all the capital, we capitalize all the expenses. They don't need $1 of cash. Yeah. The price is fixed and bonded, and it's turnkey.
It's that selling point that's clearly attracting local politicians when many municipal leaders say they are cash strapped. According to Harriman, almost 24 communities have already signed on. Communities like Bonfield, Burkes Falls, Mattawa, and this development in French River, which is almost full. For Mayor Roberts, the reasoning is simple. They need the seniors' housing.
I think it's going to go really good. I was a little leery at times, but I think right now I'm 90-10 on it. So I'm about, let's get it going. Let's get it done.
Snow has clearly been a factor across the region with the building season, but Roberts says if all goes to plan, he's hoping they can have shovels in the ground next month. Ian Campbell, CTV News, Sudbury.
It's being called an extraordinary day for the Chiefs of Ontario and Anishinaabe Aski Nation. The Canadian Human Rights Tribunal has ruled on the long-term reform of the First Nations Child and Family Services Program in Ontario.
The tribunal today confirmed that at the heart of this case is the principle of substantive equality, and that First Nations have the inherent right to care for their children and to design services grounded in the laws, traditions, and priorities of your communities. I spoke lots about this agreement.
This tribunal found that the unnecessary removal of children from their homes, families, and communities qualified as the worst harm. First Nations children belong to their families, extended families, communities, and nations.
And a $47.8 billion deal proposed by the federal government to reform the First Nations child welfare system was voted down on 2 occasions in 2024. Chiefs across the country had said it didn't go far enough on eliminating discrimination. Ontario does not have anti-scab legislation to prohibit the use of replacement workers during strikes or lockouts. Today, Sudbury MPP Jamie West and Nickel Belt MPP Frank Jelena joined Niagara Falls MPP Wayne Gates to reintroduce anti-scab legislation. West spoke of his time on the picket line in 2009 and 10 during the Inco strike. He explained that this was the first time in the company's 50-year history that replacement workers crossed the picket line.
Looking back, I saw how it exploits vulnerable workers who are desperate to make money, and it creates an opportunity for the employer to exploit workers in the community, and afterwards destroys the relationships in the community, which lasts for a very, very long time. It's been more than 15 years since that strike. We have anti-scab legislation currently in Canada. In fact, May 2024, anti-scab legislation was passed at the federal level that covers now more than 1 million people. That was pushed through with the help of the NDP at the federal level, and we are looking forward to passing it here in Ontario as well.
And the legislation was reintroduced today to mark the anniversary of the death of Peter Kormos, an NDP MPP who fought to see the return of the legislation. OPP announced new jurisdiction changes for Algonquin Park. Starting April 8th, the Huntsville detachment will cover the west side of the park and nearby towns, while the Bancroft and Whitney detachments will merge to police the east side of the park. The north area will be covered by the Upper Ottawa Valley, North Bay, and Almaguin Highlands detachments. The changes are intended to boost police presence on Highway 60 through Algonquin Park. They don't always agree on everything, but all 3 levels of government are teaming up to tackle housing affordability. Today in Toronto, they announced they will join forces to lower municipal development charges.
It's a new partnership between the federal and provincial governments to jolt lagging home construction back to life.
The Prime Minister promising $4.4 billion to municipalities over the next decade.
Matched by Ontario, a total of $8.8 billion to build the housing-enabling infrastructure and reduce those development charges.
Those are the fees developers pay to help build things like roads and sewers. The feds and Ontario will help cities with that cash upfront instead. That's if they agree to knock development charges down by at least half for 3 years.
If you don't cut DCs, you aren't getting any money. I'll simplify that. But if you do, we will be there to support you.
That change and a 1-year HST break on the purchase of a new home announced last week
can reduce the fees and taxes on a home in Ontario by up to $200,000.
The shouting you hear is from demonstrators from Grassy Narrows, demanding compensation and a meeting to talk about the ongoing effects of mercury poisoning on the First Nation. At Queen's Park, a new batch of legislative changes Ontario's Minister of Housing thinks will be game changers.
We're establishing an expert third-party advisory panel to find efficiencies within the building code. We are clarifying that municipalities cannot require enhanced development standards through site plans.
And standardizing official plans, something home builders say will cut out confusion.
They build one building on this side of the street and it's another municipality on the other side. The process is different, the costs are different, timelines are different. We need to bring consistency to that.
The hope is altogether changes announced over the last week could double the rate of building.
Ontario's looking at making explicit how much development charges add to the cost of a new home, a kind of measure of accountability for municipalities. At Queen's Park, Siobhan Morris, CTV News.
All right, back now for a check on your current conditions. Once again, here's Rick.
Favorable, to say the least, right now, Tony. Right now, in terms of our current conditions, you'll like the temperatures. All about to change. Not that cold, but of course, we'll also have some elements to deal with tomorrow. The system's moving through over the course of, well, the next 24 hours or so, starting actually overnight. And again, let's check out our current temperatures this hour. We'll get to the details on the forecast a little bit later on. -2 in Moosonee, Cochrane at 1, Timmins at 1, and Kapuskasing at +1 as well. 6 degrees in Chapleau with the cloud cover, Wawa some sun and cloud, Sault Ste. Marie some cloud cover as well at 6 degrees. Let's have a look now at Parry Sound 7. Now we've got some precipitation rolling in for later on tonight and tomorrow in Parry Sound and Gore Bay, so we'll keep an eye on that. Mainly cloudy in North Bay at 8. Temiskaming Shores at 5, mainly sunny, 5 degrees in Kirkland Lake. Greater Sudbury, we've got some sun and cloud at 7. Espanola at 10, mainly sunny in Elliott Lake at 9. And Gore Bay, sun and cloud 7. That's going to change as the rain rolls in. Tony, 7-day forecast and pick of the day coming up next.
Thanks so much for that, Rick. After a leadership convention over the weekend, next on CTV News at 6, New Democrats choose former journalist and filmmaker Avi Lewis to lead the federal party. And as fuel prices soar, 2 states in Australia make public transit free. Avi Lewis is hitting the ground running on his first day as the new leader of the federal NDP.
We're going to meet Canadians where they work on the shop floor, where they live in communities. We're going to keep touring and traveling the country. The caucus was unanimous that they don't see a need for me to be in Parliament immediately, and that's something that I had already determined. So our plan from day one is to fan out and meet Canadians where they live. And that includes the fundamental constituency for the NDP as a workers' party, and that is the workers of Canada.
Lewis says he's meeting with the head of the labor movement today to talk about the reality workers are facing in Canada today. Crews are responding after a CN train went off the tracks in southern Ontario. CN Rail says preliminary reports indicate a number of derailed rail cars in St. Catharines. No injuries or fires have been reported. The company says a non-dangerous good called polyethylene spilled from one of the rail cars, adding there is no danger to the public. U.S. President Donald Trump is now threatening to obliterate Iran's energy infrastructure if a deal isn't reached to end the war soon. Trump posting this message earlier today that great progress is being made in discussions with what he calls a new and more reasonable regime in Iran. But he goes on to say this, that if for any reason a deal isn't reached and the Strait of Hormuz is not immediately open for business, the U.S. will conclude its, quote, lovely stay in Iran by completely obliterating Iran's electric generating plants, oil wells, Karg Island, and possibly all of its desalination plants. Trump says that Iran, which has shut down the Strait of Hormuz, has agreed to allow 20 ships filled with oil to pass through the important waterway. But recent attacks on Israel by Yemen's Houthi militants raises the prospect the Houthis could block a second important shipping route. Canadians are cutting back not just on traveling, but other expenses to afford higher gas prices. The Iran war has been impacting costs, but so will the switch over to summer gas. Some countries are coming up with ways to reduce the pain at the pump. Here's CTV's John Venevali-Rao.
With drivers continuing to feel the squeeze, many worry the cost of that fill-up will keep on going up.
We have nothing to do with the war, but we're paying for it. Painful, you know?
In Toronto, gas is back above $1.70, and some hoping politicians will soon step in to offer some relief.
The gas is too expensive now. I don't like it, so I plan to change to the electric car now.
To drive down the pressure at the pumps, in some parts of Australia, states have made public transportation free. The country's tax on fuel and diesel is also being cut in half for 3 months.
We understand the cost pressures for people are very real as the impact of the war on the other side of the world plays out right here.
Italy's prime minister also moved to temporarily cut a consumer tax on fuel. And the Canadian Taxpayers Federation is pushing for governments to offer up the same here.
The least they could do would be to temporarily suspend their fuel taxes, but, they should be providing real full-time relief.
The group noting the federal government charges an excise tax of 10 cents per liter for gas, 4 cents per liter on diesel. Provinces have their own fuel taxes, and there's GST added.
Some of these taxes are very painful. If you look at places like Vancouver or Montreal, taxes are costing up to about 65 cents per liter of gasoline.
With the war in Iran now into its 5th week and oil prices again climbing, the federal finance minister was asked if the government would cut fuel taxes like Australia.
I mean, we're following the situation very carefully.
The minister wouldn't say, while noting Canada is increasing oil production. Meanwhile, other countries like Spain, Portugal, and Ireland have also cut taxes on gas and diesel, at least temporarily. John Venevali-Rao, CTV News, Toronto.
And there's more news still ahead, but first, here's your full weather forecast with Rick.
I'm still rattled, Tony, after last night's gas fill-up over $77, but hopefully that'll change down the road. Forecast radar, here we go. We've got some changes in the weather forecast coming up beginning overnight, continuing into tomorrow. Mixed precipitation, some snow, rain, freezing rain, drizzle, freezing drizzle, and ice pellets. If that's not comforting, I don't know what is. Let's stay online here. Sudbury, rain snow mix 5 centimeters overnight. Sault Ste. Marie, 5 millimeters of rain. Timmins, 40% chance of flurries. Some snow to Temiskaming Shores at 5 centimeters. North Bay, snow, ice pellets, and 5 centimeters of accumulation. Moosonee, chance of flurries. Caphurst, Wawa, some snow at 2 centimeters. Rain in Gore Bay, 5 millimeters, and Parry Sound, 10 to 15 millimeters in our forecast tonight and overnight. Now your 7-day numbers. Sudbury Nickel Belt, snow, ice pellets for tomorrow. Chance of flurries on Wednesday. Thursday, chance of snow. That's pretty well the story across the Northeast in just a couple of days. Friday, periods of rain, freezing rain and rain Saturday, and sleet on Sunday. Wow. Here we go with Sault Ste. Marie, Algoma. Rain tomorrow, 5 to 10 millimeters. Chance of flurries on Wednesday. Chance of snow Thursday. Periods of rain Friday. Rain, freezing rain Saturday. And Sunday, sleet. And in case you haven't figured it out yet, March is going out like a lion. Here we go. Timmins, Cochrane, Kapuskasing. Snow tomorrow, 5 centimeters. Chance of flurries on Wednesday. Some cloud cover Thursday. Bit of a break in the action. Friday, freezing rain and snow. Chance of snow Saturday. Periods of snow on Sunday, high of 0. Normally, you should be sitting at around +4. Temiskaming Shores and Kirkland Lake. Chance of flurries tomorrow. Chance of flurries again on Wednesday. Thursday, chance of snow. 60%. Freezing rain and rain on Friday. Freezing rain and snow on Saturday at 3 and 2 degrees. Rain or snow come Sunday. It's just that time of year. North Bay, West Nipissing heading into the Easter weekend. Here we go with snow, freezing rain +1, 1 degree on Wednesday, chance of flurries. Chance of snow on Thursday, -1, rain Friday, 7 degrees, 6 degrees Saturday, freezing rain and sleet at 3. Normally, you should be sitting at 2 degrees. How about that pick of the day, Mr. Carter Brown? Let's have a look. This is what Michelle and Sharon La Liberté call a killdeer bird. I didn't know there was such a thing as a killdeer bird, but coming from Cache Bay, this is what it's all about. So unusual title, but thank you, Michelle and Sharon, for enlightening me in terms of the killdeer bird. It's one word. Thank you so much. Hey, coming up, speaking of animals, our resident cat lady, Madison Merrier, we'll have more on the rescue of 50 felines rescued in the greater Sudbury area. That story's coming up in just a couple of minutes.
Deciphering whether a video posted to social media is real or fake has become increasingly difficult with the integration of artificial intelligence. CTV's Adrian Gobriel has more on the battle between truth and misinformation.
I'm encouraging you to register for our online program.
This fake AI-generated video of Prime Minister Mark Carney pitching an investment opportunity has lured an untold number of Canadians. It was created by doctoring this actual Canada Day message.
And reinvest in our armed forces.
It's just a drop in an ocean of false, misleading videos created by using AI, circulating online.
It's a fundamental challenge to our shared understanding of reality.
The boundaries of reality are being tested with alarming frequency since the war in Iran began. This fake video, recently shared by thousands, claimed that Iranian drones caused this damage in Dubai. This phony footage showing Iranian bombs raining down on Tel Aviv was reposted on Elon Musk's X social media site, with the platform's AI chatbot Grok telling users that yes, this is authentic footage from Tel Aviv, even though it wasn't.
This is going to become an issue across virtually every scope of life as our information ecosystem continues to fragment and people will pick and choose aspects of reality that they choose to believe.
Hi, Donald John Trump. Those increasingly in charge of the information highway are a small group of tech leaders, many of whom were front and center at President Donald Trump's 2025 inauguration.
When we think about challenges to Canadian sovereignty through sponsoring various separatist movements, I think we need to be thinking about the potential exposure that Canadians have to American malign forces.
Since August 2023, Meta removed all Canadian news from Facebook and Instagram in response to the Online News Act that requires platforms compensate news publishers for profiting off their content. Filling the gap on Meta, a proliferation of posts masquerading as fact-based news. CTV News asked Meta about the perceived threat to Canadian sovereignty posed by divisive, misleading posts on its site. They didn't respond, though we did track down Canada's Minister of Identity and Culture.
It's creating an atmosphere that is very unhealthy.
Ottawa has shared that discussions with Meta to lift the news block are ongoing. This at a time when deciphering fact from fiction online grows more challenging by the hour.
Those we spoke with believe the best line of defense against all forms of misinformation is education and civic engagement to ensure that Canada has an accurately informed electorate. Adrian Gobriel, CTV News, Toronto.
Sales of video doorbells surged during the pandemic when people were practicing physical distancing and trying to stay safe at their door. Now, many people use them as a layer of security. If you have one, it's good to know where your video footage is being stored and who has access to it. CTV's Pat Foran has details.
Whether you're on the lookout for porch pirates, wild animals, or car thieves, a video doorbell can come in handy. They've been around for years, but some of us might not realize how they work behind the scenes. Most video doorbells capture footage from wherever they're mounted and send it to manufacturers' cloud-based servers. And in most cases, you need a monthly subscription to save and access those recordings.
Usually with most cameras, when you are recording and it goes to the cloud, but you don't have a subscription, the recording is not saved. It might temporarily get stored on the server, but it is eventually deleted.
In rare situations, companies can still recover footage scheduled for deletion, which may have happened in the Nancy Guthrie case, but that process can take a lot of time and effort and isn't something you should rely on. Many consumers prefer cloud storage because it's convenient and offers extra features. Others prefer cameras that store footage locally to keep their videos as private and secure as possible. Most cameras with local storage use a micro SD card inside the camera. Researchers also suggest another option for local storage.
The safest thing to do is get a model that has a separate hub or base station that the micro SD card goes into, and you can place that somewhere, else in your house that's far away from the camera.
Local storage usually means no monthly subscription fees and more control over your video because police would have to come directly to you for the footage rather than go to the manufacturer. Those are two reasons why some homeowners are moving away from cloud storage cameras.
If I were to do this all over again, I absolutely would go with cameras that use local storage.
These doorbells and cameras with both local and cloud storage options did well in Consumer Reports tests. When it comes to your family's safety,
now can I ring the doorbell?
Where your footage is saved could make all the difference. Pat Foran, CTV News.
The City of Toronto is going into the grocery business, but not to fill the city's coffers. As CTV's Kamal Karamali tells us, the stores would be non-profit to create competition and affordability.
I'll put that right there. It was an idea served up by New York Mayor Zoran Mamdani that's been gaining momentum. Not-for-profit, city-run grocery stores.
Motion 4A carries the...
Now, the City of Toronto voted Thursday to become one of the first in North America to test out municipally operated grocery stores, 4 locations, meant to create more competition against the privately owned grocery giants by offering food items at a subsidized price.
To ensure that the lowest possible food prices are attained.
Grocery shoppers with an appetite to try anything to cut food costs.
I think anything that we try that's innovative, and if it works, why not?
Just ask Maria Sanchez, who struggles every week to afford quality foods.
I'm a single mother, and it's just hard to find good, especially produce.
But there's a belief the city is biting off more than it can chew, with profit margins for food already razor thin.
Every dollar that you put through at the till, there's about 4 cents that is coming back as profit. Can they match the purchasing power and the efficiency of the for-profit sector and then deliver it without that profit motive?
Other Canadian cities watching closely, Ottawa has its staff exploring the idea.
There are people that are very positive towards it, and there are people that are very much against it.
While Vancouver councillors instead wanting to put more money into already existing independent grocers and co-ops.
And allow them to do what they already know how to do rather than us step in and try and take over in something that we have absolutely no expertise in.
Toronto City staff are expected to report back to council with a plan a year from now in spring of 2027. So it'll still be some time until we see these city-run grocery stores turn into a reality. Kamal Karamali, CTV News, Toronto.
Nickel City Cats is a non-profit cat rescue association in Sudbury. Recently, it set a new intake record. CTV's Madison Merrier explains.
Nickel City Cats has rescued well over 500 cats in the past 2 years, and they are hoping to set a new precedent of compassionate and education-based rescue in the North.
We just think a lot of people get in situations that are completely out of their control, just due to lack of education, lack of access to medical care. Veterinary care is very expensive in the North. It's hard to access. It's hard to get spay and neuters done. So a lot of the situations that we encounter aren't due to malice or wanting to hurt animals.
When people have been stigmatized, they're more afraid of coming out and asking for help. So by removing stigma, you can help the situation a lot more. Lately, we have decided to remove the word hoarder from our lexicon and replace it with indoor colony.
This week alone, the nonprofit rescued just under 60 cats, 50 of them from one house.
The owner had taken in a couple of strays off the street and wanted, to keep them indoors, keep them safe. Unfortunately, did not have access to spay or neuter services in a timely manner. And those few adults spread to 50 cats very quickly.
It took us approximately 6 hours and 5 very dedicated people, super cooperative pet owner and property owner, because we were of the ideal of no shame. We're not the morality police. We're just here to educate you and help you out.
Nickel City Cats has had their highest intake yet, with 93 cats logged so far this month, which majority are staying at their approximate 50 fosters, as the 2-year-old organization does not have a public shelter. Madison Merrier, CTV News, Sudbury.
It's all uphill. Still ahead on CTV News at 6. Snowmobile races are set for this weekend at Mount Dufour in Elliott Lake.
Clothing consideration provided by
Fashion Fair. Beautiful clothing for today's woman, where quality makes the difference.
Snowmobilers will soon take to the slopes of Mount Dufour in Elliott Lake, capping off the ski season. This weekend, dozens of riders will be racing for glory and to raise funds for the not-for-profit hill. It's a timed event, with drivers having to make it through the course. Organizers say shuttles will be in place to help with parking and getting up close to the action.
We put this together for a lot of reasons, as a fundraiser to have fun, but it's the start of the spring, a spring thing. But look around you, the spring is not, everybody's gotten hammered with so much snow. I think we've gotten 100 centimeters of snow, same as Sudbury. Some people are maybe tired of it, but we cannot fight it. We might as well embrace it and keep having a lot of fun with it.
And more information can be found on the Ski Hills website as well as its social media feeds. Sudbury's pro basketball team is now gearing up for the best-of-5 semifinal playoffs beginning this weekend on home court. The Five will play Montreal in back-to-back games Friday and Saturday at 7 p.m. Sudbury's bid to finish first in the Basketball Super League standings fell short yesterday with a 100-98 setback to the KW Titans. And playoff action got underway this weekend in the OHL. Friday night, the Sioux Greyhounds opened their Western Conference playoff run on the road, defeating the 4th place London Knights 4-1. The Hounds followed that win up with another on Sunday, beating the Knights in overtime to take a 2-0 lead in their series. In the Eastern Conference, the Sudbury Wolves dropped their opener on the road to the Brantford Bulldogs 6-2. On Sunday, the Bulldogs won again and will head to Sudbury with a 2-0 lead. And the North Bay Battalion played games 2 and 3 over the weekend. Both end up being overtime heartbreaks, with the Peterborough Petes winning both games to take a 2-1 lead in that series. In the NOJHL, the Timmins Rock and Sioux Thunderbirds are headed to Game 7 after a pair of playoff tilts over the weekend. Friday night, the Rock rolled the Thunderbirds 7-1, but the Sioux came back strong Sunday to defeat Timmins 4-1. It's winner take all tomorrow night in Timmins. Some Sudbury business owners are celebrating a big win for cancer research after raising more than $80,000 as part of the Foligno Face-Off. Sudbury's Marcus and Nick Foligno are big advocates for raising money to fight cancer. They're asking people to donate something involving the number 17 to Hockey Fights Cancer and the V Foundation. Two Sudbury business owners asked for a minimum donation of $5,000 to attend an experience involving a meeting with Nick Foligno and Tyler Bertuzzi, a game, a dinner, and a tour of the dressing room in Chicago.
We know that the Folignos do a lot for us, and Bruno and I were pretty confident that we could show them how much Sudbury was appreciative and grateful for everything that they do for us during the year, but they give a lot to us in the summer months, right, which is when they're home for their families. But when we saw the number, or when I personally saw the number and realized how much we could achieve, it definitely affected me emotionally. Yeah.
We did it in 4 weeks, from a text message to 4 weeks later. We're sitting at the game, and $80,000. The Sudbury community comes together and really does push. I mean, it just goes to show is like we are grateful for good things.
And the campaign also got the attention of both the NHL and ESPN. The Save the LaSalle, a not-for-profit organization, announcing a first full season of programming this year in Kirkland Lake. The group working to restore and save the old vaudevillian theater is kicking off the year with a production of Mean Girls, the musical. A cinema club will also be showing movies like Marty Supreme and Super Mario Brothers. Kirkland Lake native and sibling to Alan Thicke, Lori Thicke, will also be returning home to launch her own memoir.
You know how much work goes into one event, let alone 6. And it's wonderful because it frees us up to plan and to do things well in advance and to really be professional. But also we can target and let the people know around Northeastern Ontario when to come. It's a great tourist attraction.
The group says it's still looking for corporate sponsorship to help with the restoration. The Goo Goo Dolls concert scheduled for Sault Ste. Marie tonight has been canceled. In a release, the concert promoters say refunds will be available from the point of purchase. The concert was canceled due to illness. It was an all-Canadian love-in at Sunday's Juno Awards as folk icon Joni Mitchell took the stage. She accepted a Lifetime Achievement Award from Prime Minister Mark Carney.
Through 19 studio albums, a career spanning more than 6 decades, Joni drew a map of Canada. Oh, Canada.
The 82-year-old joined a musical tribute to her work with several Canadian artists, including Sarah McLachlan, Alison Russell, Julie Black, The Beaches, and Alessia Cara. Nelly Furtado was also honored last night, being inducted into the Canadian Music Hall of Fame. She was introduced in a video message from Drake, suspending his years-long feud with the Junos. The rapper hasn't appeared since 2011 when he hosted, but was infamously snubbed for several awards.
Can't be your gold star, 'cause I just got this far.
Toronto's The Beaches won Best Group for the 3rd year in a row, and Tate McRae emerged as the night's big winner despite not attending. The Calgary native taking home 4 top prizes, including Best Artist and Pop Album of the Year. The next season for All Mankind is out, and BTS, K-pop boy band, is back on the charts. David Daniel has more in tonight's Hollywood Report.
BTS is back on top of the Billboard 200 chart. The reunited K-pop group's Arirang had the biggest sales week for an album by a group in more than 10 years.
Change happens when a few determined individuals make it happen. We need to take matters into our own hands.
Ed Baldwin has changed plenty over the 5 seasons of For All Mankind. With each season set a decade or so apart, Joel Kinnaman's character has aged almost half a century since the series began.
To believably portray a man much, much older than the character, than he is, the actor playing him, is no easy task. And the amount of time and energy Joel put into that, and our makeup team, our incredible makeup team, you know, it's like 4 hours in the chair. It's not just about the looks, it's about his voice, the way he walks, his posture. I mean, it really helps sell not only his performance, but I think this idea of time passing, which is so essential to the show.
For All Mankind Season 5 launched Friday on Apple TV. In Hollywood, I'm David Daniel.
U.S. crude oil settled above $100 a barrel for the first time since 2022 as the ongoing conflict in Iran enters its 5th week. BNN Bloomberg's Lindsay Biscaya has more.
The price of oil continues to climb as, on the flip side, uncertainty drags down the markets. West Texas Intermediate futures rose more than 3% today, the highest since July 2022, and Brent trading even higher. The latest rise in prices comes as Donald Trump is once again threatening attacks on Iran's energy infrastructure. Traders are warning an even bigger energy increase could be on the rise if the conflict does not end soon. And here are the closing numbers for the day. The Canadian dollar is down to $71.80. West Texas Intermediate is up over $104 a barrel. Western Canadian Select is up to $81.36. And the TSX dropped more than 25 points to finish the day. Those are your business headlines. I'm Lindsay Biscaya.
And here are the current prices for some key commodities we watch. Gold is up 10.08, closing the day at 45.03.87 U.S. an ounce. Silver moved ahead 24 cents. Copper fell 2 cents, and nickel is up 2 cents, ending the day at 7.74 U.S. a pound. And Rick is back now for one last look at your Tuesday weather.
Well, Tony, gas and oil stocks also up this week, and we all know why. Let's check out tomorrow's weather. Snow and freezing drizzle. Greater Sudbury, 0, your expected high. 5 centimeters of snow tomorrow. Timmins at -7. Sault Ste. Marie, 2 degrees. Rain, 5 to 10 millimeters in the forecast. Moving on over to North Bay. You've got snow and freezing drizzle, +1, 6 degrees Parry Sound, lots of rain and drizzle. Of course, it all starts overnight, and Temiskaming Shores, flurries and ice pellets with the high of around -1. Big change in the weather for tomorrow. Get a bit of a break a little bit later on, and some snow Thursday. Tony, back to you.
Okay, thanks for that, Rick. And finally, in the UK, a popular Easter treat has been supersized for this year's celebrations. This is the world's largest mini egg, 3 feet tall and about 120 pounds. It took 2 days to make and is filled with milk chocolate with a crispy exterior. The egg was created just for this Easter to entertain visitors at the Cadbury World Theme Park in Birmingham, England. The company's regular mini eggs are only available around this time of year. And folks, that's CTV News at 6. I'm Tony Ryma. Thanks so much for watching. More news comes your way at 11:30 with Ian Campbell. Good night.